Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's demonstration specifically for prospective leagues. Today, you're going to have the fabulous Will Sanders taking you on a tour of ClubExpress to show you how your league can best use that software. So, Will, why don't you go ahead and take it away?
Hi, everyone. Good morning. I appreciate everybody's time this morning. I want to start off today by saying that it is a really exciting time here at Club Express, especially centered around the leagues. We're doing a lot more. We're getting better. We're learning with a lot of great intel with the awesome roundtables that Sam does. And we're really excited about 2023, and we're full steam ahead. So let me give you a little insight for those who don't know Club Express. We're a Chicago-based software company that was established in 2003. What we provide is a cloud-based solution for associations like yours. Our very first release was in 2004. We're currently on version 66, and we average a new release, I'd say, every 3 to 4 months. The whole tool itself is an online tool, so you just need internet connection. You can use your desktop, your laptop, mobile devices. So everything is accessible via any device. We service thousands of organizations worldwide, and we have over 500,000 users benefiting from Club Express. So, as 2023 steams forward, again, we're just going to keep getting better, and we're really going to keep updating the platform for the things that you want to see. Now, the platform itself is broken into 4 different components. Since it's an online tool, we have to talk about the look and the feel. And when it comes to leagues, we've got all your logos and color schemes already built into the platform from our end for a design standpoint. Then we've got to talk about the public area. That's basically where you guys are going to tell your story, things like that, centered around your local chapter. There's a private area, which is going to be accessible to members only. And that's really a big piece to kind of what we've built for you all, is to have that public feel and that member feel. And that's all protected by username and password. So when you logged in, you'll be identified as a member. So what we'll be exploring today is the information that you see here on the next couple slides. So again, in the public area, meaning what you share with the public, we'll cover some of the homepage, custom pages, your calendar, and then we'll talk about your contact us information that you guys are putting out. And then in your member only area, we'll go over some of the modules that are built into the system that a lot of the leagues are using. We'll talk a little bit about the member profile that your end users have access to, and just kind of show you the power of the system itself. So let me jump into our current demo site for you all. So let me just share my new screen here for you. So this is a demo site for the League of Women Voters that we built. It's not a real league. And the reason I'm taking you to this site is because we want you to understand kind of how everything works, and just kind of give you a high level overview of what you can expect. So the first thing that we're looking at is from a public view. But the public view is really, again, dictated by what the local wants to show. You can share as little or as much information as you want to non-members or people that are not a member in your organization, from information, news that you want to put out, tweets that you guys may be sharing, any events that are coming up. There's a lot of my local chapters that are doing things around donations. So if you want to make those available to the public, you're able to do things like that as well. So again, the public page is really how much information that you would like to share before you log in as a member. Now, some of the custom pages that we kind of talking about, these are going to be things like who we are, our history, meet the team. These are just some of the custom pages that you can build in Club Express within the platform itself. Now, a lot of the locals come on and they have us do the initial website build out, look and feel. But by all means, we also have a package where, you may have the staff or the know-how within the local to do it yourself. And these are some of the things that you can do. Now, for future proofing reasons, after we build you this wonderful looking website for you guys to be able to really promote what you believe in, what your votings and things like that, you guys are going to be able to constantly update this platform as well. So you can come in and create new content anytime that you want. So these are the things that you're going to be able to do around custom pages, things like that. You also have a really, really robust built-in event calendar. Now, I always like to talk about the event calendar because it's much more than just a placeholder for your events. When you really drill down into the event calendar, you can get really granular. You can host, everyday meetings. You can host 3-4 day events that you all are having, and they can get really in depth. You can talk about, sponsors of that event. You can highlight their logos. You can put pictures inside the event calendar to promote, if it's a kickoff event or something like that, different activities or breakout sessions. You can list the cost. You can even go as far as if there's dinners going to be involved where people can come in and pick their plate. It is a very, very powerful event calendar. And not only, can you do things like that, but you can also create events that people have to register for. And this will make more sense once we kind of jump into the demo. But you'll see these little buttons here every now and then on an event where people can register and they can pay for that event, or if it's a free event, they can register. And what that basically does is allows you to start capturing the individuals that are coming to your events and be able to, do things like send surveys or collect membership data for people that are non-members that haven't quite made the jump to become a member. And it's really going to be able to give you many, many different vessels on how to reach out and market to people, but also know what's going on from the inner local events as well. And then you've got your contact us page, right? You've got your official league info. You can share your official address, any payment addresses that you may have. Obviously, you want to highlight your league contacts, such as your presidents, your VPs, your finance managers, your communications people. All of these are very, very important roles within your local, and we want to make sure that you're able to share that. And then you've also got the ability to be able to get emails for people that may have membership questions. Maybe they just have questions about the local itself. They're going to be able to have a one-way road right to you from the emailing and the contact us page. Now, things look a little bit different when we actually log into the platform. So your website will have a login page, and all of your individuals that are a part of your organization will have their own username and password. So they can come, log right in, and it's going to take them to your website that you have built in with ClubExpress. Now, if there is an occasion where some locals come in and they've already have a website, they've built a website, or they've already made an investment in a website like on WordPress or some third-party platform, you can use ClubExpress as a member portal as well. So not only do we have the all-in-one package where you can build a website, you can set up everything on ClubExpress, and everything can be done under one roof. In the situation where you've already have a website and you're happy with that website, you can 100% use ClubExpress as a member portal. What we do is we just link the two through a redirect link. And what we try to do on our end from the member portal side, because again, we have the logos and the color schemes, we make it flow like as if they never left your site. Now, there is some work on your end to for your webmasters to be able to put a login link on your website to redirect you to your member portal. But please do not think that you cannot use ClubExpress if you already have a website. That is not the case. And if you need more information on that, please reach out to me. But in the member section, the moment that we log in, it takes us to a completely different part of the website. We're now viewing this as an end user or somebody in your organization's view. The first place I'm going to take you is to the profile. Every member in your local will have their own profile. And the reason that we do this is the mantra around here is we want the member to manage themselves. We want to try to streamline processes for you to take or eliminate things that you may have to do day to day as an administrator in your local, right? And get back to what's really what matters. And that's building and connecting with people in your organization. So we don't want you to have to be bogged down with having to update profiles and do things like this. Your member can come in, they can see their membership summary at a very high level, the type of membership, the status, the expiration date, but they can even get granular. They can come in here and they can update their own information in the system. First name, last name, primary address, any other info that you may collect. And what I mean by that is there's options for additional member data. So when you have somebody fill out a membership form for your organization, if there's things that you ask that are not in our general information, you can add additional member data questions that can be answered. And, I'm just going to spitball here and say, a question like, have you ever served in the military? And I'll tell you, a lot of locals are transitioning to, during the membership process, asking people that may be interested in volunteering in the local. That way they can capture that data up front and know who they can lean on when they have events. So these are just some of the things that you can ask in the profile. Also, just as administration has running transactions, so does the member themselves. They can come in and they can look at past transaction history. And this really is a very high level view for your users to be able to know what they're being charged for, when it's being charged, what type of transaction it is, and what the status of that transaction is. Is it paid in full? Do I still owe? So this is a really, really unique part of what we offer, to be able to give the insight for your users to be able to come in here and know exactly what they're paying for, whether that's a renewal of a membership, a donation, maybe they paid for an event of some sort. If you're selling swag, if you guys have a store and you may be selling coffee mugs or sweaters, things like that, you're going to be able to see all of that front face value here with this transaction history. So again, not only does administration have it, but the end user can have it as well. Not only do they have transaction histories, but they're going to be able to look at things like event history, any events that they've been to, any donations that they've made over the past 12 months, 24 months of all time. And this is the same view for all transaction history, any volunteering. So, what I see, what kind of the wave that I'm seeing in a lot of the local chapters that I work with today is they're offering volunteering opportunities for people within the organization to sign up for. And not only are they allowing through this module people to volunteer, but they can capture those hours. And they're doing some really, really fun and unique things, like highlighting their volunteer of the month and their volunteer of the year. Because remember, ClubExpress, we can collect the data. So we know how many hours people are volunteering by when they sign up for their volunteering and if they actually do their volunteering. So they're doing fun things, like highlighting in the newsletter their volunteer of the month and volunteer of the year. And it's really, really got people excited about volunteering within their local. So don't know how many people are thinking about it, but these are just some of the things that you can do with it. Now, all your members have their own built-in photo albums and things like that. They can write their own blogs. They can also share as little or as much information that they want about themselves in their member directory, and we'll kind of segue into the member directory. But this is them. This is a very high level view of the member. And when somebody searches them in the directory, what you see is what you get, right? This is the only thing that administration really don't have the power over. Because we are an international company, we follow the Privacy Act. We allow the member to share as little or as much information as they want about themselves. But from the engagement piece, when people want to learn about who is a part of this local, who's involved, you can go in and see information that person has chose to show. It could be as much as a name, it could be much as just an email, but they could go into depth and write a biography about themselves. They could share any photos from past events that they've attended. They can share some personal information. Any blogs that they have written will be here. But this is just a very, very high level view of the member themselves. And again, it is a very awesome way to be able to share that information of individuals in your group. Now you can search by first name, last name. A lot of the locals are doing interest centered around certain things like, expand voter access, gun violence prevention. These are just some of the interest groups that you can create. And what I mean by interest groups are small groups. So think of interest groups as smaller organizations within the local itself. And what people can do is they can join these groups of people that have similar interests. They can share information, they can talk to each other, and they can really, find and kind of gravitate towards people that have similar interests. And with interest groups, they can also have their own, forum threads that they can talk in to share anything around advocacy, any news that's coming out of their, legislation around their area, their districts, their states. Forums is another really, I think, underutilized tool in ClubExpress. It's starting to become more popular from the League of Women Voters side, just because it's a very, very quick and easy way to push information to a certain group of individuals very fast. But it also allows a platform for those individuals to reply, to be able to receive that information and do what they want with it, or send it somewhere else. So I would say that forums is becoming really, really popular from the local side, not so much the state, but definitely from the local side, because we're able to push those articles and count different events and forms that people may need to fill out, just tips and tricks just for the platform. There's a lot of stuff that the administrations and other locals are doing that you'll have access to, obviously, the administrator form when you become part of ClubExpress. So this is a end user look. Again, you've got things like donations modules. You can run as many donations as you want. They can be offered to both members and the public. You've got a document library. Now, all of your document library stuff, that's unlimited. So you've got unlimited photo, document, and video storage built into the system. And this is for things like voter guides, maybe past newsletters that you want to archive, any advocacy documents that you guys are posting. It could even go as far as, any forms that you may have filled out. I'm starting to see, some things sometimes when you go out for like a march, or you go to do something in the community, people are having to sign off on forms for insurance purposes, things like that. You can store all of those forms and things like that within your documents. So again, you've got unlimited space to be able to come in and post things that you guys are keeping in the system. You've got built-in photo albums, so you can share photos from events that you're having, maybe different things that you guys attended. A lot of really cool, unique stuff that's going to be able to really help promote what you all are all about. Now we're going to transition into the administration side. Now, the administration side is probably where most of you on this call will live. And every time that you log in as an administrator, you're going to be able to see a little button here that says Control Panel. So Control Panel is the back end of the system, not for members. You'd have to be labeled as an administrator and or a coordinator, and those will make sense when I kind of split the two. I'll delineate between what an admin and a coordinator is here shortly, but this is where most of you will live. Across the top, you're going to have a tab called People, Website, Money, League, Communications, and Support. I'm going to start with People. People is probably where most of your membership managers will live. People that are a part of the membership team and or your membership manager. Under this tab, they're going to be able to have functions like People Manager, meaning they can look at a very high level view of all the individuals in your organization. They can see their name, their member number, the type of membership they hold, the expiration of that membership. If they need to keep notes on a specific account, they can come in here and keep notes on an individual. If they need to add individuals to mailing list categories, they can do that as well. But let's say that the member that, we want them to manage themselves, but they're having trouble updating their profile, and they call into your membership manager. He or she can also come in here themselves and go right into that member's profile and update that member's information. So just as the member can, the administrator can help in those processes too. And they would do that right from the People Manager itself. So you can look at different statuses from active, expired. You can look at perspective. I'm starting to see some, people really, really dive deep into their membership info using this a lot more. The membership managers are starting to navigate, through different profiles and add, keep notes on people who want to volunteer, things like this. So all of that can be done here. Any non-member information that you're collecting. So these are people that may have come to an event that you made public that haven't quite made the jump to become a member, but you had them fill out some information. You're able to keep that non-member data in the system as well and have a very high level view of anybody that you maybe want to market to try to push membership and become a member, or maybe you want to update them about a new donation or something that's going to happen to keep them involved in the local itself, right? So not only can you view members and you can also view non-members. In the case that you have somebody that walks up to an event that wants to join, right at the event, your administrator can always log in and add a member manually. They can go in and pick what type of membership they want them to have, and they can set it all up and put that member right in on the spot. So you've got those capabilities to do that as well. Also, from the control panel, they're going to be able to come in. Now, you guys are pretty set on your membership types, but if they change for whatever reason, you're going to be able to come in here and update any membership type you have or any dues that are kind of attached to that membership type. These are the additional member data sections where I said you can go in and ask additional member data questions. Your renewal and expiration settings you can set up in the system as well. So the system's smart enough to be able to send out those renewal and expiration emails. So, you can set those up to go out 3 different times. You could say, hey, 45 days from a renewal, I want an email to go out, 15 days from a renewal, and then let's send the third one 10 days after. So you guys dictate when you want those renewal notices to go out. And this is just a common way to update individuals to let them know that they've got a renewal process coming up, so they're not surprised by it. Now, also your membership types, as far as the PMI, for national, that's automatically it's done in the rears. So anything that any membership or any due that happens this month will be collected the next month. It is, and Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, it is collected on the 10th of the next month and then deposited into national and the state, if your state is on the system, on the 20th. Is that correct, Sam?
That is correct.
Awesome. So no longer do you have to submit those forms. The system does it for you. And again, it's always done in the rear. So anything that happens this month will be collected in the next month. And there is a state webinar coming up, I believe next month, that Steve Raftis is going to do. And I believe he's going to cover that whole chart on how that works. So stay tuned for that. But if you need that, please feel free to email me, reach out, and I can explain kind of how that works. But this is where you're going to do things like that. From a webmaster standpoint, your IT team or people that are working on your website, they'll live under your website tab. This is where they're going to be able to come in and add content. They can add documents to the library. They're going to be able to update things on your menu up here. So let's say they went into menus and they went into your member menu and they said, hey, we need to do some things with the contact us page right now. We've got to update some information. So let's pull that down really quickly. They would just pull it down, they'd save it, and it would go away from the system. When they're ready to put it back up with the updated information, they can just come in here, they can select contact us, move it back in, save it, and it's right back up. That easy for your IT team and your administrators to come in and make changes like that. And it's the same way with creating custom pages. They would do that from the same exact place under website. If they wanted to come up with a new contact page like the history of, they could create a custom page. They can make the history of page, save it to the menu, and put it on the menu that they'd like to share it on, whether that's the public or the member. They can change website look and feel options. They can change fonts. They can add photos to photo albums. There's a lot of things that your individuals from your IT kind of your web team come in here and do. Now, for all you finance folks, treasurers, this is where you'll probably live, under your money tab. Your money tab is going to be able to give you your bank account activity. You're going to be able to see deposits made into the account, whether that's for dues collected, event registrations, any withdrawals that are made from your account, hour fees from ClubExpress, special charges, things like that will all be able to be viewed under bank account activity. You're going to be able to run your donations module. You'll be able to add your bank accounts. If you've got multiple or one, you can set up different bank accounts. You can also come in here, and this is really, really powerful. So not only can finance folks or the treasurers run reports, but for every tab across the top, you'll always have a reports page. In this case, here's what a lot of the treasurers use this tab for, not only to look at activity, but they come in here and they run weekly, monthly reports. So they can come in here right at their fingertips and say, hey, I want to see member and user transactions by type, and I want to run it for, this year or last year or a specific starting date. And then they select what the output format that we have here. So any report that we've got built into the system, these are the formats that they can be output in: PDF, HTML, CSV, Word, and Excel. And then they can run that report, and then it will generate them a transaction report and give them a list of line item transactions with the total to show them exactly what's being charged or what has happened in that organization. So that's the power behind ClubExpress, being able to give you those really, really quick, detailed reports that are going to be the things that you need, the things that you want to know. And again, it's not just centered around money. You can do a lot of things with the different reports. If you need to run a membership list that you want to mail out, if you want to pull a quick report of, hey, show me every member that has a birthday in February, because in our next newsletter, we want to say happy birthday to these individuals. Just cool things like that to be able to make it more personal for your end users. Now, the league, a lot of you as administration will probably live in this tab. This is just kind of the all around the league itself, the local. This is where you're going to come in here and set up your administrators and coordinators. Now, administrators are pretty much everybody that can touch, feel, smell everything, right? They can see membership info, they can see bank account activity. An administrator is pretty much overall. When you start to add coordinators, this is where we can dictate different levels of administration. So if Miss Martha Smith, we only want her to be able to do certain things in the platform, then we're going to give her the access to do those things. So it looks like she may be the people manager because we gave her the ability to do people lookup, people management, member directory, committees, but we don't allow her to make changes to the website. We don't allow her to see any transaction or bank account activity. So we've limited what she's able to do in the system by giving her access to the things that we wanted to give her access to. So when Miss Smith goes back here under money, she wouldn't see anything here because we haven't given her access to do those things. But if she was to click people manager, right, we could come in here and we could see people manager. Now, you only see that here because I've got that triggered from Martha's profile. But if I was to click on anything as it sets in the coordinations, we wouldn't be able to do any of that, right? So that's why we really, really kind of high level show this, because we want you to be able to understand you can say who your administrators are, who can touch and feel everything, but you can also, maybe you have a summer intern that's coming in to help with the local, and you only want to give them the ability to email folks, right, about events, and you just got them helping around the office or things like that. You can do that and give people different access to where you want them to be. Now, speaking of emailing and communications, obviously the communications tab is where you're going to get out all of your information. You can do surveys, you can write blogs. This is where you're going to set up your forums and what's going on in your forums. This is where you'll do your emailing through the system. And it is a very, very powerful emailing system. You could come in here, you can go in and say, hey, I want to send out a letter from our president. We want to send it now or on a specific date and time. We can write that subject. I'm just going to say newsletter for February is what we'll call it, right? And I want to personalize this email. So remember, ClubExpress is smart enough to know exactly who we're sending these emails to. Because we have the membership information built into the system, we can now send 100, 200 emails, but when it lands in the inbox of that individual, it's going to say, hey, Will, hey, Sam, hey, Devin, because we know who we're sending it to. It's just that it's those little added touches that personalization that makes it feel better, right? Because they don't seem, it's just like it's a mass email to a bunch of people. It's really personal. Now, from your level, you can get really granular with who you target. So you could initially go in and say, hey, I want to send an email to everyone who donated to a specific donation fund. Or I want to say thank you to everybody who volunteered for an opportunity that signed up for a certain volunteering opportunity. Or you may say, hey, I want to focus on everybody that has an open renewal in the system. I want to send an email to everybody that has an open renewal in the system. I'm going to save it. This will go green. So now, instead of sending out renewal notices to the whole organization, we focused on just the system telling us these are the people who have not renewed their membership. Here, reach out. So we can do a couple things. We can come in here and we can build our own email. I could say, hey, I want a couple of pictures and some text. I want to highlight our volunteer of the month. I want to put our social media links in, and then I want to give them a link to where they can go renew their membership. I come in here and I click these pencils. I update these sections with the pictures, the text, the links that I want to put in. And there's a couple of things I can do. I can either send that right away. I can send myself a test email because I want to see what it's going to look like when it lands in the inbox to make sure I like the flow. Or if I know I'm sending this often, I can save it as a template for future use. So this is what you're going to do for like your newsletters or your monthly letters that you're sending out. That way it's easy just to click into your templates, grab, let's say the president's message for the month, drag that over, and it's already populated. And then you can just go in with these pencils and update the content that you want to put in that template. So this is a very, very fast way of sending out emails and getting the emails into the inboxes of the people that you want at a very granular level. And that's why I think a lot of people are starting to transition to kind of the whole under one umbrella. That way you don't have to keep paying these monthly charges to things like Constant Contact and MailChimp and have these 14 different plugins to your current site when you can do it all under one umbrella. And then you can do it really fast and really powerful. So that's why we promote this a lot, because I want you guys to know that being able to reach out to your constituents is right there. And it can be done very quickly. Last but not least is your support tab. We understand at ClubExpress support is rare these days. We're one of the last organizations kind of in our world that offers live support, and understand that we have young men and young women on the phone from 6:30 in the morning to 9 p.m. at night Central, ready to help you. They're very good at their job. They are a very, very good team. And without them, I probably wouldn't be the sales guy that I am, just because our support team is really, really good. And also from a training standpoint, Sam and Devin and Sam's team are phenomenal. So not only do you have the support, but you also have the training aspect. And that's all built in. When you become part of ClubExpress, you get that support. It's unlimited support. It's always done by a live individual. And if there's anything that happens outside those times, you obviously have my number or Steve's number if you need to reach out. And we usually get things done pretty promptly. We're all in the same building here in Chicago. We don't third party anything out. So we all work together, and we get things done fast. Now, if there's ever a time that you're just, you want to learn yourself, under the support tab, you can come in here and you can look at manuals. So this is for my readers, people who want to download a manual. Please, please, please do not copy these manuals, because you will be hitting me up for ink and toner. These things are like 600 pages. Just download them and read them. But for people who are visual learners like myself, you can come in here, and Sam and her team have done these awesome videos that are usually anywhere between 10 and 30 minutes, depending on what you're looking at. But you can easily come in here and say, hey, I'm a membership manager for my local, and I need to understand how to manage non-members, or I need to understand how committees work. And I can simply click on this YouTube link, and I can watch a 9-minute video and follow right along and do the things in ClubExpress right off this video. So it's there for you to learn. If you want to learn, this is also powerful because we understand your board turns over annually. And as new people come in, you can kind of, send them this way to be able to learn the system. Now, here's another big one that a lot of locals are using. This is our administration form. The administration form is a forum, kind of like we looked up here, right? We showed you earlier, except it's a forum of administrators across the world that use ClubExpress. So any other league administrators that use ClubExpress already, they have access to this forum and they share tips and tricks and they share information. Or you, as an administrator of your local, you may see something on another league's website and go, wow, I really like that content page, or I like this, and be able to see or reach out to other administrators and say, hey, why did you do that? Or how did you do that? Or can you help me? Or look for tips and tricks that some of the other locals are doing in the administration forum. And it's just a way to connect with other locals as well. Learn about other locals and what they're doing, and maybe possibly team up and do some things together. So I always like to point this out because I think it's powerful, and I do think it's another underused tool that's in the bag that people just kind of glaze over. If you're a new administrator in ClubExpress, live here. Learn as much as you can from other individuals that touch it every day. And it really gives you the opportunity to share and get ideas from other locals themselves as well. So with that said, that is ClubExpress kind of high level. Any time that you need a deeper dive and you want to get more granular for your local and the things that we can do, myself, as long as you fall in my states, you will work with me. Anybody else that is not in the states that I kind of adhere to is going to be Steve Raftis. So he's my counterpart. He'll be doing the state webinar coming up next month. And then Sam does the roundtables. And Sam, I will pass it back over to you for questions.
Perfect. And we had a really lively bunch. So we'll kind of talk about some of the questions. I want to talk about a couple that maybe I didn't get to, and some of the questions are coming in right now. So can you talk a little bit about the monthly hosting fees, the sign up cost, and how someone might determine what their monthly fee is going to be if they switch to ClubExpress?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the monthly, you guys have special pricing. So it's $30 a month until you exceed 300 members. And then once you exceed 300, if you have 300 or more members in your organization, it then transitions to 10 cents per month. So $30 minimum up until 300 members. Anything over 300 members, you go to 10 cents per month. Now, the only other cost that you would have to worry about are your one-time fees. And I'll jump over here really quickly. If you ever want to come and learn about pricing, we're very transparent with our pricing. Right on clubexpress.com, you can go right to the pricing module, click pricing. Now, again, this doesn't translate to you. So in the member calculator, you will not get the numbers that I just given you because you all as League of Women Voters have special pricing. Just remember, $30 a month, unless you have more than 300 members. If you have more than 300 members, it's 10 cents per month per member. That's how you do your number. But if you come on ClubExpress where you're having us build a website and things like that for you, under your one-time setup fees, this is the cost that you guys would look at for us building out a website and doing things. Now, I can tell you most locals live within these two packages right here. You don't start to get up into these packages up here until you get into the state level. But I'd say sometimes we can get in here on the larger locals, but these first two packs is what most locals live in if they're having us build them a website from the ground up, and then putting data in and things like that. So if you ever need to see that pricing, right here under pricing, one-time setup fee. A lot of locals are starting to use our payment processing as well. If you need to look at the payment processing fees, they're right here. We do not mark any of these up. So it is as it stands. So that would be the only other thing I would tell you to look at. I hope that answers your question.
And there were a lot of questions about some of the modules that you were showing. So you went through blast emailing and you went through the document
Mhm.
library, and all of the modules that Will showed off today are all included in the site. So I mentioned that in the chat, and I wanted to mention that again. Those are not things that you're going to pay extra to utilize. So
Correct.
if you're using MailChimp, you can switch to just using our built-in blast emailing feature,
Yep.
eliminate the cost of MailChimp or Constant Contact or whatever you happen to be using. And again, all of that's included in that monthly hosting fee that Will mentioned. And then there was an additional question about a basic entry cost, so your setup fees. And we do have all of our setup fees outlined on our website. So if you go to
Mhm.
clubexpress.com and you click on pricing, we talk about not just the monthly hosting fee, but we talk about the different setup packages that we offer. And they
Mhm.
range in how much work you think that you can do on your own site and how much work you think you might want our development team or our designers to do on your site. So it just kind of depends on the time that you might have to build out your site, your custom pages, and whether you think you might need a little bit of help from our team. And they range in price, and you can pick whichever package suits your needs.
Yep. About
And
97% of what we do is out of the box. Now, there are some extra cost features that some of the leagues use. There's a deeper reporting module called ad hoc reporting that a lot of locals use. I do want to mention this because I'm starting to see this a lot more. And Sam, I don't know if you're starting to see it too, but the accessibility module. The
mm,
accessibility module that we have access to is a very powerful tool. And when I say accessibility, I'm talking about for disabilities. So, seizure safe profiles, vision impaired, screen readers, blind users, things like that. There is a extra cost feature that we offer. And it can be found right under the extra cost functions. But this is the accessibility toolkit, and it is compliant from WCAG. So it is an annual fee, but I'm starting to see a lot more locals take interest in this because they want to be able to have accessibility for the disabled to be able to come into the website. So it's a fully automated AI powered tool that makes your website, WCAG compliant. So that would be probably the only other thing I'd highlight. Sometimes people take the more deeper, robust reporting in ad hoc reports. I usually see it from the state level, not so much the local, but ad hoc reporting is going to be more than just those basic reports I showed you. Think of ad hoc reporting as kind of a deep dive. Hey, show me a list of everybody that signed up on Saturday for this event. I don't know, just kind of having fun wearing a red sweater. Things like that. You can get really granular in reporting and do pivot tables and cross tabs with that reporting. Not many locals use it, but that'd be the only other extra cost feature I'd highlight.
yes, I would agree with that. So I did highlight a couple of those. There's also one of the ones that I mentioned in the chat with our contact log. So the contact log
Oh yeah.
functions like a CRM. And I also mentioned the nice little deal that we have for leagues. So if you are a local league and you're looking to switch to ClubExpress, we do offer the contact log as an additional cost feature. Now, the bonus is that if your state joins ClubExpress and your state purchases the contact log module at the state level, you get that as a freebie module.
Correct.
So that's something to kind of think about, especially if you are going to maybe take this to your state and ask them to at least pop in to our demonstration. So a couple extra points about pricing. Someone had mentioned that the brochure that we had last year for leagues, if some of you have taken a look at that, had a different price. And so the question was, how often do you increase your monthly prices? Not often. So our most recent price increase was in December of 2022, just last year.
Mhm.
Prior to that, our last price increase was about, I think, 6 years ago. It was well before I started,
Yep.
maybe even perhaps before you started, Will. So we do not increase our fees very often. We hadn't increased them in a long time, and things just get a little bit more expensive over time. So we did have a small increase in our monthly fee. Our monthly fee used to be $24, and now it's $30. So they're small increases, and they don't
Mhm.
happen often.
And another question, do you get any kind of guarantee on pricing in the off chance that there is no longer a partnership between ClubExpress and LWV US? So for those of you who maybe aren't familiar, ClubExpress does have a standing partnership with LWV US. We're the preferred software provider for leagues. So on the off chance, and of course, I have no information on this, and from everything that I understand, our partnership is thriving and it's going really well. On the off chance that there's no longer a partnership, we don't really have an answer for that, unfortunately. What I can say, and that some people do have this question, is a lot of folks are concerned that if National chooses a different software provider and you happen to have already switched to ClubExpress, what does that mean for you? We do not hold your data hostage. You have full ownership of your data and you're able to take that with you at any time. So should you ever decide that maybe you want to go with a different software, or you just want to switch sites, you have the ability to take all of your data and information with you.
Yeah, the other, just to piggyback off that, Sam, the other thing is, remember, we do not sell your data either. So your membership data, we do not sell it to lead list companies and things like that, like some of our competitors do. Just to piggyback off what you said there, Sam.
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. And a couple of other questions. Is working on your website similar to working on a WordPress website? It is going to be more complex. Your WordPress website has far fewer functions and extra modules than your ClubExpress website would have. Because everything is built into your ClubExpress site, there's a little bit more of a learning curve. But what's really great, and you probably noticed this as Will was navigating through the back end of the site, is that a lot of those functions look the same. So once you kind of get the hang of one of those modules, a lot of those skills are transferable to other modules. We use a lot of the same gestures, a lot of the same icons, a lot of the same interfaces to give you that sense of familiarity as you're moving across the back end of your site. And we have hundreds of video tutorials, webinars. We have our online help system, and we do have our support team. So we don't just lead you to the wolves and set you free. We do want to make sure that we set you up for success. And as Will mentioned, we also have an LWV ClubExpress roundtable that we've set up. We meet periodically, and the roundtable is actually separated into smaller groups. So that roundtable has a group for events and volunteering. They have a group for prospective customers who are just starting up to get them started on the right foot. So you have a lot of support coming from not just ClubExpress, but from your own community members, those in other leagues that are also working on ClubExpress. And there was a question about local leagues using the data connectors and having an issue with duplicates in their database. And that may be something that you may have heard from other leagues. I have seen some emails going back and forth about that. That is an issue that's happening at the national level and on the national side. So there are some issues that happen on their side. We have confirmed it's not a ClubExpress issue, not to throw anyone under the bus, but national is working on that. Everyone is aware of that issue. And that's something actually that the roundtable members have discussed. So if you do switch to ClubExpress or you do decide to go with us, I would highly encourage you to look into the roundtable. And if you have questions on that, you can ask Will and I can direct you to that as well. And that gives you, again, another support system, gives you kind of an ear to the ground of what's going on at the national level and what's going on in other leagues.
Yep.
And
it's a great group. This is an awesome group.
Let's see. So I don't know anything about LWV Outlook Circle. I haven't heard of them. I've heard of Milo before, which is another software that a lot of leagues use. I can attest, I'm a league member myself. I'm a local league member out here where I live in Palatine. I used to be a league member in Chicago. So speaking as a league member, I used to use Milo to manage my own membership on the Chicago site. And as a Milo user, I can attest that the ClubExpress interface is in fact better. There really wasn't a lot that was available with Milo. So just as a user, I can say that I even as a member, I could do more with managing my own information and my own profile. But I don't know anything about LWV Outlook Circle. I have not heard of them.
Yeah,
And
I'm sorry. I thought it was the outreach circle. Is that person referring to the outreach and not Outlook circle?
possibly, and I think that if that is what they're referring to, I actually do know about Outreach Circle, and they have a very different goal of their software. So their software
Correct.
is, yeah, so their software is going to be more for advocacy and reaching out to your members and to your non-member contacts based on advocacy issues. So we actually did speak with, so naturally ClubExpress was at the last league conference over the summer. And we actually spoke with the folks at Outreach, and we met the founder and creator. And we did end up speaking with them after the fact to see if there's something that we can work with almost as a collaboration. So that's something that's on our books. It's of course something that we would work very closely with LWV National if that were to come to fruition. So we do know about them. Both of our softwares really aren't competing. Again, if that's what you were referring to, they're not competing. They can work side by side. Right now, they don't work
Correct.
hand in hand, but you can certainly use both, and there really won't be a high duplication of work or data that's happening in there.
Correct.
And how many local leagues are using ClubExpress and how many state leagues? Currently, we are at about 140 local leagues. And I believe even Will, you're adding a few more just this month. So
Yeah, I had nine locals come on this month.
yeah.
One was Chicago. So
And so, yeah, congratulations on the Chicago. So we are getting new leagues every month, and that's just one of the sets of numbers from one of our salespeople. So our other league sales specialist is also working on leagues. So we
yeah,
have a lot of leagues that are joining us every month, and currently we have 4 states. We have additional states that are coming to us that we're working with now. And we also have a state-specific league webinar happening next month. So if you think that your state might be interested, definitely have them take a peek at that. They can sign up at clubexpress.com/calendar. And of course, they'll likely get a link or an invitation from our sales team in the coming weeks.
yeah, and regarding states, I'm starting to see an influx of states come in because as we add more local leagues, they're starting to lean on their states a little bit more, and their states are kind of seeing the power behind it. So I think after this state webinar, I think we're going to see several states start coming in. Like Sam said, I mean, I've got 9 new locals this month. I had 4 new locals last month. So it is moving very, very quickly, and I think people are starting to see the power between the links. So, yeah, and that's only just going to help us get better for you all as well.
And so a couple of additional questions. Will local leagues be notified whenever a new local member signs up or renews? That's something that you can absolutely configure
Yes.
within your website. So if you're the type of person who wants to see every single person who signs up, you can configure that. If you get flooded with emails and you don't want to know about that, you can also turn that off. So that's something that's configurable based on league by league. So it's not something that we turn on for everyone or turn off for everyone. Would our membership database be populated with our member data from the LWV US roster to start? So to talk about how your membership database actually gets imported into your new ClubExpress website, you're going to work with one of our implementation engineers. And this is true for everyone, no matter what level package you purchase at the start. So you can purchase a basic package for $150, or you can purchase the highest tier package, which is something like 4,000. You get the membership database upload for free. What we do is we provide you with a template that's just an Excel spreadsheet, so CSV file. We provide you with a template so you know exactly what information you want to include, and we work with you to make sure that you are including all of the information that you want to have populated in your membership database. Now, the way that you get that information to start, you may have an Excel spreadsheet already. I don't know if you are able to download an export of that from the national roster, but however you obtain your membership database, that's on your side of the equation. Once you have that, we work with you to format it, make sure that all of your data is going to get uploaded properly. We also help you spot check that to make sure that everything got loaded properly. And we make sure that we start you off on the right foot with that one. And again, that's included with any package that you purchase.
We also send out whenever you give us the green light of after kind of what Sam was explaining, we also send out your initial welcome emails to all of your members. So whenever the site's ready to go live and you guys give us the green light, we also send out an email that will then prompt your end users to go log in for the very first time and then update their username and passwords as well.
And let's see some other questions that we had. I'm trying to make sure that I answer the questions that I didn't get to answer in the chat. Let's see.
Yes, there's a newsletter. So, and Sam, I don't know, you're privy to this information more than I am. Does the newsletter data, such as who opens the newsletter and what links? Right now, I think we track opens and reads, but we will be able to start tracking clicks, I believe, here.
We are working on that. So what we are able to track right now is we can't get as granular as clicks on pages just yet. We are working on that.
Correct.
It is on our developers to-do list. And it's been talked about several times. So I think that it's moved up on their to-do list, but I don't have information on when that might be released. What you're able to do right now is with any email on your site, blast emails or what we call system emails. And to give you a brief description, system emails are these boilerplate emails that get sent out to members or non-members based on things they might do on your site. So if someone registers for an event, they get a quick confirmation email. You have the ability to edit every one of those system emails, and every single email can be tracked. So you can see how many folks opened up your last newsletter. You can even break it down by who opened up your last newsletter. You can also see who opened up those confirmation emails. So you have the ability to track that. Again, we don't have tracking with links just yet. Some folks get around that by creating tiny URL links or links using another service so that they are able to track them if that's something that is important to you. We do offer Google Analytics integration. And if you are on our YouTube channel, you can search for Google Analytics and take a look at our most recent webinar where we talk about how you set that up and what types of things you're able to see within Google Analytics reporting. And if you're not familiar with Google Analytics, it is a free website analytics service from Google, of course, and we offer that integration for free as well. So you can plop a couple of codes into your website, and they're very easy to do. And then you are able to track a little bit more on your website. You can see page visits, you can see where your page visits are coming from, what your website visitor demographic looks like. So while we don't offer that granular of information and data tracking, we do offer the ability to use Google Analytics to track that data. And can we see examples of websites from other leagues that are using ClubExpress's various packages? So on our website, and if you wouldn't mind pulling up that league page on our website, so if you go to clubexpress.com, and I'll wait for you to get there. And if we click examples at the very top menu, and then on the left-hand side at the bottom, we have League of Women Voters, and we scroll down to the bottom, I believe that we have a handful of examples of different sites that you can see that we've built. And of course, a couple of those sites are going to use the League of Women Voters template. So you can kind of tell when we're using the template when we have black at the top and bottom. Yep. This is a site where they did a lot of the work themselves. So you can kind of see some of the differences in what we've built versus what some other folks have built. And you can see a couple of our additional webinars that we've hosted as well.
Yeah, there's it really depends on, kind of what you're aiming for. Like, I always like to look at Texas too, because I thought Texas did a really good job as well, the state. So, when it comes to look and feel, it's really to each his own, right? We can build you whatever you want as long as it you fall in the right package. But look and feel is really driven by, we take your vision, right? We take your inspiration and we try to put that on the platform. So you're going to be able to get whatever look that you're trying to achieve.
And another question, can we talk more about the integration of member data information collected with the LWVUS member database? So I can talk about that a little bit. So this is called our data connector. We have two connectors and we'll touch on them and I'll sort of reiterate how they work. So our data connector works with your membership database. Our funds connector is when we're talking about PMP and that getting remitted to national on a schedule to eliminate you having to pay PMP either annually or quarterly or however it is that you get billed, that would happen automatically. With our data connector, and this is what's connecting your membership database with the national roster, what happens is someone signs up on your website, or if you have members who don't really want to sign up online, maybe they just sent you a check and you added the member to your own database. That's the end of your work. So what happens on the back end is every night we have a program that essentially runs and collects any new members that have signed up with leagues and any data changes. So a change in address, a change in a mailing address, a change in name spelling, or maybe they changed their last name because they got married. All of that gets automatically updated nightly at the national roster. So you don't have to, on whatever schedule you were used to updating that data or adding in that data to the national roster, you no longer have to do that. All of that's taken care of. And with the funds connector, of course, what that means is that on the 10th of every month, all of the funds that you would have collected are, we take a look at those and we have, again, another program that runs in the background and it takes a look at what you owe in PMP. And I believe the credit card fees are subtracted from that. So you wouldn't pay credit card fees. I believe that National covers those. So we extract the PMP and then 10 days later, we remit that PMP to National, and that's the schedule that we keep to every month. So that would be how those databases work. And another question that came up, could a small state with only 4 chapters create an account and a website that has sections for local chapters as well? So that is something that you're able to do. I don't know if leagues are able to do that, though, with the way that some of our functionality is set up. Do you have any more insight on that, Will, or would that be a question that we have to get back to them on?
I believe it's doable. So I'm going to get 100% yes or no on that. But in the case that it does, it would look something like this. I'm just on a different website here, but this would be the local league, and then the local league would have chapters that are in it, and each chapter would have their own membership directory, their own committees, their own event calendar. What I don't know, Sam, is how the PMP connection works and the membership. So I would say let's get back on that one if we could set it up this option.
Sure. So I do have the name of the person that asked, so I'll make sure that we get you an answer.
Yeah.
Another question that popped up, and I'm not really sure. I think there might be like a slight misunderstanding. So if my local league signs up, and this is coming from someone at a state level. So if my local league signs up, that means that I have to load my member info in or I'm not a member. So I'll sort of reiterate how that membership info process happens. So when a league decides to switch to ClubExpress right from the start, we take care of that import for you. So wherever you're housing your membership database right now, there should be a way to extract that data. You might be just working with an Excel spreadsheet. You might just have your membership database in another portal that you are able to download and extract that data from. So we'll provide you with the template. And all you have to do is just make sure that your information is populated in the template. And that's just, of course, quick copying and pasting to make sure that you insert all of the names in the name column and so on and so forth. Once that happens, you give that spreadsheet to us and we upload it for you.
Yeah.
Now, when new members are signing up, what happens is, let's say I am signing up for the first time with my local league here in Palatine. So I sign up and I, as a member, am just filling out my contact information. Maybe I'm checking off local issues that I'm interested in. So my league knows to contact me when there's something to do for that issue. But because I signed up myself and I signed up online, my league doesn't actually have to do anything. They see that I've signed up, they're cool with that, and that information gets automatically populated in the national roster at the end of that evening. Now, if I had opted to send in a check to my local league because I didn't want to sign up online, I would send my check in. My league would then record that I paid that and add me as a member to that local league. And that's the end of my local league's work. So they add me to the ClubExpress database, which is basically the website, as Will showed you. They add me to that, and they don't have to add me to the national roster because it automatically happens at the end of the evening. So there really is very little work for you to do, and the data connector eliminates a very tedious task that a lot of league administrators have dealt with for the last several years. So there really isn't a lot of work for you to do, especially with the upload process, because we handle that initial upload for you. It looks like the questions have died down. We'll give it a couple more minutes to see if we have any additional questions. And I'll reiterate that we'll be getting a copy of this video. We'll do just some quick edits here and there for time, and we'll make sure that we get all these questions in. So if you are interested in reviewing some of the Q&A that we've been doing live here, that'll be included in the video as well. So by the end of the week, you'll likely get an email from Will, and that'll give you a copy of this video. And then there were a couple of people that had some additional questions, and we'll reach out to you as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, appreciate the time. Thank you, Sam.
Oh, we have one more question. Please explain how the trial version works. Can you talk about signing up for a free trial, Will?
Yeah, absolutely. So on ClubExpress website, you can find the free trial button right on the home page. And all you do is you click sign up for a free trial, and it brings you to a kind of a little pop-up window like this, which allows you to sign up your organization name. You create a short name for your organization, which can be, changed later. So what I mean is, if you end up bringing your own .net or .com over, we'll make the changes on that. But you just go through the initial setup, and it allows you 60 days trial. Now the platform is opened up for you the 60 days. The only thing that you can't do in the trial is actually put more than 8 members in the database. So we only make it available for 8 people to sign up for the trial. And that's usually people's administrators that come in that want to kind of mess around on the platform as well. However, you've got 60 days. In that 60 days, you could essentially go in and build a couple content pages, try to build a website. There's a bunch of things that you can do. During that 60-day trial, we treat you like a customer. You also have access to support. So you can call in to support during that 60-day free trial in case you've got questions and things like that. And sometimes I get it. Sometimes you run up against that 60-day wall. Life happens. You don't really have time. If you ever need a little bit of an extension, you can always give me a buzz, and I can kind of maneuver some things. But any of the work that you'll ever do in your trial site, you won't lose it. So if let's say your trial runs out, we keep that data, and you'll be able to, I'll be able to turn it back on for you if you want to come back around to it. Now, I don't know how long we hold it for. It's quite a long time, but you don't lose that data that you just worked on right at the end of the 60 days. So that's how you would just set your free trial up.
Yes, and we have a lot of resources to help you during your free trial. So you'll get a series of tutorial emails to kind of help you go through the process. So once you get started on that free trial, don't think that we just leave you to the wolves.
Correct.
We do offer you help, and you are able to call customer support even during your free trial. So while you're looking through our tutorial videos or on our online help system, if you still have questions, you can give our support team a call, even though you are currently just in a trial.
Yep.
And this is a trial for the website, not for the member area. That's correct. So you do have a limit as to the number of people that you can list in your database during your free trial. People typically leave it to your close group of board members or website administrators. So around 6 or 8 people is usually what we recommend. And it's usually the folks who are making the decision of, yes, we want to switch to ClubExpress, or no, this is not for us. So you have a handful of people who can also experience the trial with you. You might want to open it up to your membership director to kind of poke around with the membership side, and your treasurer to poke around on the finance side. So you have the opportunity to open it up to folks in your organizations, but that is correct. Your members wouldn't be able to access it, but you can certainly see what the interaction is going to be like as a member. Because as Will mentioned at the top, I believe in, if not, I'll say it again. When you're signed into your website as an administrator, your website still recognizes you as a regular member. So you still get to see a little bit extra, but you do have the experience that your members are going to have.
Correct.
All right. I think that the questions have died down.
Awesome.
All right. Well, I'll hand it off to Will, and I want to thank everyone. Will, why don't you take us away?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, hands down, best group ever. A lot of great questions. Very, very informative session, I hope. And like I said, if you need to reach out, even if you belong to my counterpart, Steve Raftis, I will make sure that I get you in his hands. But if you have any questions, any thoughts, concerns, trust me, there's always that aha moment that happens when we hang up that somebody forgot to ask a question. I'm just a phone call or an email away. Thank you again for all of your time. It's been fun, and I look to see you at the next one. Have a good day, folks.